to like balance work, school, life, everything. Like it really just starts to get to you at some point. Like, hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so happy to be back. I know it's been a minute. My 36 viewers, hold on, to my 40 subscribers, I'm so sorry for not being around, but I am back. Okay, and today we're not just gonna act like things have been cool and then I come back after like 3 months and start posting again. No, as you can see from the title, we are serious today. We're having a serious chat, okay? And I feel like this is not spoken about enough. Like, it is spoken about. This is not a new topic. It's just not spoken about enough. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk about, I can't really say much because I'm going through it right now myself, but I just want to talk about it and just talk about like what it's like to have to like balance everything, to like balance work, school, life, everything. Like it really just starts to get to you at some point, like especially if you don't have or you don't feel like you have a support system, or you feel like you may have people around you willing to support you and like be there for you, and you don't like speaking about your problems, or like if you just don't feel like they would understand what you're going through, you know? And with everything that goes on in life, like I feel like we just need to speak about it more, and people just need to understand no matter what we show, like online, in person, to our friends, whatever it is, through gossip, whatever it is, like everybody is going through it, okay? Even when people are having like a good time, like if they're saying like yeah, everything's good and things are actually good, it's not like they're not doing anything about it, they're just having some good times, and but they still have to go through their own problems and deal with their own problems. Maybe they're dealing with them better for some time, but they're still having to deal with them, like, to be honest, like it's been such a rough time. I'm not going to lie to you. I This is my first semester working. So no, this is my first school year working. So like this has been a rough time for me. I am not going to lie to you. And it's like my first year like working, like in general. And like in general. Like I'm about, like in 2 months I'm gonna be employed for a year. Meaning I got my first job in May last year. I'd never worked a day in my life before that. It may sound like a blessing, but to be honest, like to an extent, it was a blessing. But at some point, like it was more of like I'm from Zim. I grew up in Zim. It's not that easy to get a job, and I was looking for a job. And then at some point, my parents were just like, you know what? We'd rather you be at home, and we pay you to be at home and take care of things at home. And yeah, that's what I started doing at some point. And then I actually got a job before I left, but I got it because of nepotism. I'm not gonna lie to you. It wasn't really nepotism, but it's because my parents knew someone. And the thing is, like, my parents aren't the type of people that have like connections and stuff. So like it was just like one of those, like, oh, I got so lucky. Like genuinely, I got so lucky with that job. But it wasn't a hard job because I was actually at the top. I was the boss of everybody. I wasn't really the boss. I was like the supervisor. So I was in charge of everybody else. And on top of that, it was a super flexible job. I kind of worked at home, worked from home, because like basically, like, I was working for a family friend, and I was so gassed to get this job. And like she gave me this job because she knew I loved this stuff. Like I spoke to her about how much I love real estate when I was a lot younger, like not probably like 17 or whatever, and I told her, I was like, I am in love with real estate. And she was doing real estate, and because she's so busy, she's like a doctor and stuff, she's so busy, she just didn't have the time to constantly supervise her real estate developments. And she did have someone she did hire, but then she had to take sick leave for a few months. She's like, who's gonna take over for that time being? And then she's like, oh my gosh, let me take Shinky. And most of the real estate construction sites were like in my neighborhood, so I was always close by, and I had a car, so it was super easy and all of that. Like, it sometimes I felt like, damn, I sometimes would literally like work so late. I'd be out until like 10 p.m. But it was still a lot easier. And I think with everything that came with the job, I could keep going because I really loved that job. Like, because like even when my mom would like see me coming home at 10 p.m. and my feet are so dusty and musty, and she's looking at me like, well, you're going through it. Like, I was at that point, I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Even my mom was like, are you sure you're supposed to be doing all this? I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, like, sometimes work just would go that long, and I'm like, at the end of the day, I love this job. I love being there. I honestly do. Like, it was really nice. My phone was constantly ringing. I remember when I finished that job, I had to change my number because I constantly had random people like calling me, blah blah blah. I was basically like the little like personal assistant at some point. But yeah, it was so much fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. And yeah. But then I came around here, I came to England, and I couldn't get a job at first. So I decided when the summer comes along, I'm probably gonna try scope out elsewhere and like look elsewhere for a job. And I did. And I got a job over the summer. I was working in a different city. It wasn't bad. I actually really enjoyed it. It wasn't bad, kept me busy, finally making some money. It was like a really like, the hours weren't that great, but I was thinking I need to get like, you know, work experience because my CV isn't looking great right now. Like, it's blank and I'm 21 with no job, you know? So when I finally got this job, it was one of those like, oh my gosh, like, slay. And then I moved back to my city for uni, and I got a job instantly. Like, it was so easy. I had interviews back to back. It was so good. I felt so happy about myself. I was like, I can finally have a job. I can finally like do everything I need to do. And yeah, like, I felt like I was on my own 2 feet. I felt so good about myself. And then now, like, it really started to add up. I'm not going to lie to you, it started to add up. Like, uni started, and then I'd work, and like I had to balance everything. I did not have a day to myself. Like, it was always I'm either at work or I'm either at uni. And it was one of those like, this is where I felt like I couldn't speak to anybody about it because my friends are either from sim as well, or they're either from sim. I did have a few international friends, but most of them like either from sim or international, or they were local here basically. And it was so hard because nobody would understand what I'm going through, because I didn't just have this job just to make some money. Like, I actually had bills to pay. I had to pay my rent. I have to pay my rent. I have other bills to pay. I had to make, you know, I had commitments. Real adulthood. Like, and people say to me like, oh, you're still a student, it's fine, don't worry, you're meant to struggle as a student, plus your bills aren't that big. But that's the thing, still have bills, and I still have to work a job, and I can't work that many hours type of thing. And like, nobody would understand because all my friends from Zim or all my international friends, their parents were paying their rent type of thing. Like, their bills were paid, they had like pocket money coming in. Or my local, like my friends who were like local, they didn't have that stress because they have SFE. So I just felt like nobody would understand what I'm going through, you know what I'm saying? So it was one of those like, I was just really like, it was really just piling up to the point where when I had time to myself, I would literally just bed rot. And like, yeah, honestly, and I'll tell myself if I finally get some time to myself, I'm gonna be so productive. Nope, I would bed rot. and it became a cycle. It's just literally a cycle where I'm so depressed, not like super like actually depressed, but you just find yourself doing the same thing over and over and over, you know? And yeah, and to the point where if I finally get home, I'm just tired. Sometimes if my day started at 2 p.m., I'd wake up at 1 p.m. And the problem was, like, usually if my day started at 2 p.m., it meant I was getting home at like 9 p.m. Yeah, and then it was just a lot. It really was a lot. There were actually never times where I'd be home before it was bright, before like it got dark type of thing. And that was a lot to take in, especially in the winter, because you know it gets dark at like 3 p.m. And yeah, that really got to me, I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, like, you just really, it doesn't get better. I'm not gonna lie to you, it doesn't get better, you just get stronger. That's the thing. That's really the case. But yeah, I'm literally just here to talk about it and be like, honestly guys, you're not alone. If you understand what I'm going through, you're not alone. And that's the thing, because even if I try to explain to people like, yeah man, like I'm really going through it, nobody would believe me because of the way I carry myself. Really and truly, it's just the way I carry myself. Maybe one or two of my friends, like the ones that really speak to me on a daily, they would kind of see like, ooh, she's kind of going through it. And I wouldn't speak much about it, but I'd just be like, yeah, man, I'm going through it. And they were like, oh, damn, that's crazy, you know? And then, like, there are times where, damn, yeah, there's, like, times where I'd be like, oh, man, it was so stressful. And, like, that's the thing, because I feel like people don't expect me to go through these things. But yeah, but honestly, like, I feel like a lot of people assume, like, I've got money. I know some people assume I've got money. I really don't. I really don't. I don't know where you guys got these assumptions, because I don't even try to portray like I've got money. I've really never tried to do that. It's just that, to be honest, I feel like I'm so glad my mom taught me this at a very young age. But your looks really do matter. They do. Genuinely, they do. Because the thing is, your looks are the first impression you make on somebody before anything else. So I've always cared about the way I look. And I don't believe in looking like my struggles. I'm sorry. If life's beating the shit out of you, don't look like it. Just don't. Like, why do you need everybody to see how much you're struggling? If you can just, and you may say, oh, it's so expensive, blah, blah, blah. It's really, like, it's really not. It's really not. Like, some things, yes, but you're just deeping it. You're genuinely deeping it, honestly. Because there were times where I couldn't afford to get, like, new stuff. Like, sometimes I couldn't afford to get a new wig. I couldn't get new makeup. What? I'd make it work. I would make it work. Why do I need to look like I'm struggling? I don't. And this is not about faking it, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just caring about how I look. And if you think otherwise, then you probably look like your struggles. That's what it is. So, yeah, honestly. But you know what? This is now what I have realized for myself, and I've just thought about it. Like, I feel like this is the best way to come back, make this kind of video, talk about this, and just, like, tell you guys, like, yeah, I'm going through it. And love to you if you're going through the same thing, because yeah, like, with all the pressure that's going on online, and you know, some people just, I think for me personally, it's just the circles I'm around. Like, they're either like trying to act a certain way, or they really just got that type of support. Like, I really don't. Like, it's really me against the world. I've literally gotten into adulthood, and that's the thing, because I feel like I'm turning 22, so I'm still 21 right now, and it's one of those, like, I'm at that point where my friends, the friends around me, the people around me, we're at that age where there's some people who are full on adulthood. There are some people who are getting married, you know, some people having kids, some people still asking their parents for everything, you know. So it's such a mixture, and it can get really confusing, and can feel like there's so much pressure about everything, you know, and you just forget, like, there are people like you at the end of the day. Maybe I'm the one who got unlucky and just don't have those kind of friends, but genuinely, like, it's just such a variant. There's some people who are still a bit behind and some people who are way more ahead. That's the thing with being 21, because like everyone's at a different stage. Everything's so confusing. Like, I genuinely, every day I'd wake up and I just think I cannot wait till I'm an age where I'm on the same level as everybody else. Like, everybody is full on adulthood. Like, if it's about marriage, like, marriage is a whole different thing. Marriage and babies, that's like your choice type of thing. But it's more of like everything else where everyone's got the same struggles. I genuinely always felt like I cannot wait for everyone around me to have the same struggles, you know? Everybody's paying bills. Everybody's got a job that they hate. Everybody's trying to do whatever. Like, that's genuinely what I've always wanted for myself, what I've always been thinking about. But I've just realized, like, honestly, if I'm so focused on what's going on with everybody else, I'm not going to be able to focus on myself. And you know what? On top of that, like, I just feel like it's just really difficult, okay? Because it's genuinely me against the world. I don't know who else feels this way, because I don't have the support from my parents. Like, yes, I can go to my parents if I really need to. I can speak to my parents about things. But the truth is, like, even times where I go to my parents for advice, they always remind me, they're like, you're an adult now, so you can make this decision. You just tell us what you decide on, type of thing. Like, it's become that type of thing. I have to fully say to them, I'm coming to you for advice. Okay, like, they will come, I will go to them, they'll be like, you don't have to ask me you don't have to ask us for permission anymore. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, it's really me against the world. And like, what makes it worse is like being abroad. Like, being abroad makes it so much harder, because like, I can't be like, I know, like, I have so many friends who try this adulthood thing, and then they're like, nope, I'm gonna do this in the comfort of my parents' home, and I can't do that anymore. And I remember what it was like. I'm so grateful I took 2 years off after high school before I went to uni, because I got to enjoy that feeling. I got to enjoy myself, being a girl, all of that. I need to put some mascara on, hold on. Okay, I am back. Anyways, yeah, so as I was saying, like, honestly, I don't know. I feel like I've reached that point where I've realized, like, I remember when I first got here to England, basically, I was like so stressed. I was thinking like, oh, I'm still like kind of relying on my parents. It's kind of feeling icky for me. I need to get my life together, you know, type of thing. And I was expecting to like get a job, start uni, everything all at once, but I couldn't get a job. And yeah, it was so frustrating. And that was the plan I had with my parents. So now, like, it was so stressful. And yeah, but now, like, I feel like by the grace of God, I am a Christian. I don't know if I'm a Christian, but I'm something in between there. And like, honestly, like, I just always think about it, like, that year was my first year here was the roughest year of my life. But I'm so grateful it happened, because I learned a lot during my gap year. So tough, but I learned so much. I thought that was it for me. I felt like I was an adult now. I felt like I had gone through enough adult experiences to be ready to endure whatever comes my way. Man. Anyways, my first year here was so rough. Like, nothing was going my way. And then, like, after a year, like, exactly after a year, I was looking back, I was like, oh my gosh, I got everything I've always wanted. I've got, like, friends I love. I've got a job, a decent job. Like, I can't complain about my job. Like, I hate working, but I can't complain about it. I'm at uni, everything's going well. I'm balancing everything, you know. And yeah, but then I kind of got stuck. I found myself like stuck, and that's when I realized, like, this was never the plan for myself. Like, this is what I wanted, yes, but it was a stepping stone to what I want for myself in the future. And I forgot about that. And man, I was like, wow, this is a lot. Like, when I finally had the realization, I realized, like, I really lost myself. I really, really lost myself. Like, I was always such an ambitious person. Like, I was so ambitious. You have no idea. I was never afraid to take risks. It was so crazy. Even times where, like, everyone around me would doubt me, I'm like, nah, like, that's crazy. Like, and I'll still do it, and it went well, or it didn't go well, but I would never regret it. Like, that's the thing. I would take a risk. I could win or I could lose. If I won, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, hell yeah. If I lost, I'm like, I want some more. I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna do that again. And try harder this time. And try and make, like, fix my mistakes. That's the type of person I was. But, like, now, like, obviously I was kind of stuck the first year. Like, I was kind of stuck for a while. And then when finally I got, like, my feet up, I was finally up, I was comfortable and everything, I was so scared. I was so scared to lose what I had. And I was like, and I had close to nothing. Like, I'm thinking, like, what? Like, I was so scared, and I finally realized, I was like, oh my gosh, no, this is not going to work. It's really not going to work. And now I feel like I'm in that point where, yes, I'm still having to balance work and life, yes, but now I feel like I've come back to that mindset of myself. It's not the same anymore, because back then I was like 17. I hadn't really gone through much. Now I'm 21. That mindset is back, but in a more mature way. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, like, it's a lot to take in. But honestly, like, I'm so excited for what's coming in the future. I love planning everything out. Like, oh my gosh, I love to journal. I love journaling. It's literally my life. I love journaling. It's a part of me. It's literally a part of me. I love me a book and a pen. I have an iPad. I don't really care for the iPad when I'm journaling. I want a book and a pen. Actually, when I got the iPad, I ended up getting myself a pen for it, because I was like, I need to write. If I decide to journal in my iPad, I want to write, you know? But I just love that feel of just writing in my book. And I do not throw away anything. I have had so many journals, so many. Before, I used to just write on random pieces, until I realized I love journaling. Whatever my thoughts are, I love to put it onto paper. And a lot of people, when I tell them I love journaling, they think, oh, I'm writing my deepest, darkest secrets. No, I'm literally planning out. If you were to ever see some of my journals, it's literally just numbers of what, I have no idea. I just need to put it on paper. There are times where I can't sleep because I need to write something down, and then next thing it's 5 a.m. Like, that's genuinely the type of person I am. And I do not throw out any of my journals. And, like, I love to, like, come across my journals. I literally carried all my journals from Zim, brought them here. I've gotten more, and, like, I don't throw out any of them. And, like, I've reached that point where, like there are times where, like, I'll find my journals and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I love what I was thinking about here. I can't believe I forgot about this. I can't believe I forgot about that. Wow, that was really smart. Wow, that was really dumb. Oh my gosh, what was going on in my head when I wrote this type of thing? Like, I'm going through every type of thing, and, like, it's really nice to just look back at it. And honestly, journaling was always one thing that's helped me decompress, and I love that about myself. And I'm so grateful I found that out about myself very early on. I even remember when I was still in Zim, I had a friend that worked at a bookshop, and he would let me get his work employee discount. So I was genuinely always coming around just to buy more journals, and I would buy like 3 at a time, 4 at a time. And, like, it was so cool. Like, even to the point where every time I'd walk in, he's like, oh, are you back for another journal? I'm like, hell yeah. And, like, yeah, I've got so many of those. It's so much fun. And I'm so grateful I've got that in my life. And yeah, sometimes you just need to find something that helps you decompress. And I would say don't find something to decompress that is like related to like alcohol or drugs, like all that stuff. Like, it's not the best. I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. Like, I don't believe in using alcohol and drugs when you are feeling down or if you need something for yourself. But like, that's up to you. But if you're my friend, I wouldn't be okay with that, because that type of stuff leads to like alcoholism, addiction, all of that stuff, and that's not like, you don't want that for yourself. And I feel like I feel like that kind of stuff is more for, what's the word? Recreational activities type of thing. Like, you need to do those things when you're happy, not when you're sad, and that's what I believe in. And yeah, like, it's not always that I was sad when I was journaling, but whatever feeling I had, I would have it. I would like write it down type of thing, like, to the point where I carry a journal with me everywhere I go. Everywhere. Like, my closest friends even know, like, oh, you got a journal on you today. Like, yeah, you brought your journal, of course you did, type of thing. Like, yeah, that's what I love to do. Even though I don't show people what I'm journaling about, and I try to keep it to myself, but if we've hung out long enough, you've kind of seen me pull out a book at some point, and you're like, what's that? I'm like, just my journal. And they're like, oh. I'm like, no, it's not. Oh, it's not. Because if you look at my book, it's not gonna look cute, okay? It doesn't look cute. I don't make it aesthetic. I'm literally just scribbling whatever's in my head, type of thing. If I feel frustrated, I do this thing where I'm just like, okay, Shingi, I take my book, I take my pen, I'm just like, okay, Shingi, whatever word comes through your mind, write it down. Write it down, type of thing. There were very few times where I'm so frustrated, I have no idea what I want to write, but I feel like I have to write, and I just literally like scribble in my book, because like, I just feel like that's what I can express for myself. So yeah, it's just good to have those type of things. Yeah, and what else would I say? Honestly, yeah. So yeah, that was really good for me. And obviously, I also have God in my life. Like, that really helps me. Like, I don't really like have prayer times. I'm more of a pray when I feel like it. And I think because of that, there was a time where I kind of lost myself, kind of forgot about God for a bit, but I eventually found my way back. And yeah, but like, I still believe in praying when I want to pray, rather than like putting prayer sessions where I like kind of sit down and be like, okay, Shingi, it's time to pray. I don't really like that. I like to do it wherever I am, whether I'm walking to uni, in the shower, walking to work, literally like anywhere I am. I love it, because I feel like though at those point, like in that point in the moment, I am genuinely speaking from the depths of my heart, because like, it just came in that moment. I'm like, oh, thank you, God, honestly. And usually I am like grateful when I'm praying. Like, it's just, I'm in the moment. I'm like, oh, God, you did it again. Oh man, type of thing. Like, that's just who I am. And yeah, like, what else? Yeah, honestly, like, it can be really rough. Like, I don't feel like I've got it rough. I feel like I'm just going through adulthood, and I know there's so many people who got it way worse than me. Way worse. Like, honestly, I know they do. And it's not more of like sometimes you just can't find a job. Sometimes you can't afford the bills you've got. No matter what you do, you're not going to be able to afford your bills, which is a common thing I see. And it's so sad, because like, it's just so hard being an adult, especially like if you've got so many bills come up to you at such a young age. Like, you just don't know what to do with yourself, and you kind of stress out, But honestly, like, at the end of the day, I feel like just find something for yourself to decompress, and like, talk to people. and ask for help, because closed mouths don't get fed. Like, if you need help, just be like, hey, I need help. Like, that's also really hard for me because I do not like asking for help. I really don't. So it's one of those, like, it's really hard for me to ask for help. But if I really have to, I will, like, because nothing's wrong with asking for help. The worst thing is they could say no. There's genuinely nothing wrong with a no, because one no is close, like a no is one a no is one step closer to a yes type of thing. So, or if you like to think about it, if somebody says no, then you've asked the wrong person, you know, whichever way works best for you. But yeah, yeah, it can be a lot, but honestly, like, I've just realized, like, I feel myself coming back to my mindset. Things are still tough. I'm still struggling the same way, but I feel like because of my mindset, things have kind of changed. And this is coming from someone who's always tried to stay positive about things. Like, I don't find myself, I may complain, but in the moment, I'm just like, I have to be here. I'm gonna stay positive. So, like, I'm literally that one person at work where you're like, why is she always smiling? Do you love your job? No, I do not. I do not want to be here. But you didn't do anything wrong to me. You don't deserve my negativity. Why should I spread that negativity? And I believe in spreading positivity because there's already so much negativity out in the world. Why should I add on to that? I feel like at least I can be that one person that smiled at you today type of thing, you know? I could work a 12, 14-hour shift and I'll keep smiling type of thing, like, because you didn't do anything wrong to me. And I feel like I've wired my brain to the point where if I see a stranger, I want to smile at you. Maybe if I've seen you before and then I see you again later in the day, maybe I don't want to smile as much. Or, like, if you already, like, pissed me off, I probably won't want to smile at you. But if you're a new face, I totally want to smile at you. I'm like, hey, like, what's good? What's happening? Like, bestie? Yeah, you're my bestie now. That's, like, how I like to think of things. And, like, it really just gets you through the day. But, like, my biggest fear was just, like, how I felt like I was kind of stuck. I was stuck. I was moving on a treadmill. I'm moving, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm moving, but I'm still in the same place. That's how I felt. And yeah, honestly, now I feel like because I have had this realization that I kind of lost myself and I've found my way back. I'm finding my way back to my old self, to the real me. I feel like I'm going to be more intentional about everything I do. If you haven't seen already, I started a nail business. I don't know where that's going to take me. I really don't know. I'm going to take the risk, though. I'm going to see where that takes me, and I'm excited for it. And I've got so many other things I'm going to do. I even called my mom. I was like, Mom, I know you're going to be against this. It's not really pertaining to the nail business. It's more of the, like, my plans I had for her. I'm not really going to share that over here because I don't really feel comfortable speaking about it. But I literally called her. I was like, Mom, you're probably going to be like, hell nah, but I'm not here to ask for your permission or for your advice. I'm just telling you out of courtesy. And I'm like, this is the best time. Like, you forget it sometimes, like, with everything that goes on, especially if you've got a lot on your plate, with everything that goes on, you forget that you're still young, and this is literally, everyone says it around you, and you're like, hell yeah, but you don't do it yourself. This is literally the best time to try new things. Like, this is the best time to see what you really like, because what have you actually done out there? You've gone to 56 raves last year, 26 clubs, 85 night outs, but you've never tried pottery, you've never tried hiking, you've never tried skydiving. Can you really say you've lived? Like, you may say you've lived because you blacked out. That's not living. That's close to dying type of thing. Like, honestly, like, How are you ever gonna know? There is so much out there that you can't try and like be like, oh, I want to do that when I'm 40, or I want to do that when I have money. Like, no, just do it now. Find a cheap alternative that if that's the issue. If money's not the issue, go and try it. Oh, but I don't think, but have you tried it? But I probably won't like, have you tried it though? Like, you probably haven't. You probably haven't. And that's the problem. Like, you're already assuming you won't like something, you know? Like, even for a really long time, I thought, nails, I don't think so. But I've started to realize, like, I really enjoy doing nails. I love doing them on myself. Like, I feel so much peace. I remember, like, my first client, she was like, oh, this must be the really stressful part. I was like, yes, it's the hardest part, but I feel so at peace. Like, I feel like, you know, like the ocean. I can hear the ocean when I'm like doing that part, like the hardest part, because I'm like, I really enjoy this. I would have never known if I hadn't tried it out. I genuinely would have never known. You know, I love getting my nails done. I never thought I'd want to do nails, but I thought, I might actually enjoy doing this. And yeah, we're gonna see where it goes. I've got so many other things I want to try and do. And yeah, like I feel like I'm not afraid anymore to try new things. So this is literally the perfect time. And I laughed at myself the other day because I was thinking about it. I was like, every time I see someone like who's got a job or whatever that's like really young, maybe like my age or younger, and they've had the same job for months on end and they hate the job, I'm like, why don't you look for another one? Like, this is literally, like, if you have bills, yes, look for another one before you quit. But if you don't like it and you don't have any responsibilities, just quit. What's the issue? Like, just quit, honestly. And they're like, what? No, I'm like, yeah. Like, this is literally the perfect time. They're not expecting you to keep this job because you're young. Because most young people, this is literally the perfect time to keep a job for 3 months. You go for an interview. You make them believe you want to be there for the rest of your life. And then you leave after 3 months, or even just a month, or even just a week. You work there, you're like, not for me. You quit, you try another job, you quit, try another job, quit, try another job. Like, that's literally what you're meant to be doing. I've been so scared to even lose my job right now. I'm realizing I've not tried any other industry. Genuinely, I have not tried any other industry. I've got responsibilities, so I can't just quit. So, like, but I want to look for a job elsewhere. I want to try something else. Before, like, this is my second job, but it is still the same industry. In fact, with the same company. I didn't even switch companies. I just switched branches type of thing. I didn't even try to look for a job elsewhere. I was like, nope, I'm staying with this company. Nope, I'm staying with this company. Like, what? Like, this is literally the time to be trying new things out. Like, why should you be so afraid? This is literally the time. Like, go ahead, try it out. Whatever you're feeling, like, go and try it, honestly. Like, yeah, like, you're meant to fuck up at this point. Like, you're young. People are expecting you to fuck up. So go ahead and fuck up. Like, that's honestly what it is. Like, why are you stopping yourself from trying new things? Because you're afraid of what? Like, you're afraid to lose what? Your minimum wage job? That, like, honestly, even if you feel like you've got a good job, if you're not happy with it, you're literally like 21, 22, maybe you're 25 watching this, it doesn't matter. Like your life is gonna stretch into like 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. You've got so much time to try something out, but this is literally the perfect window to go ahead and try that thing out, because once you're older, you've got more responsibilities. There's more expected from you. At this time, like, this is the time to be trying new things, because people expect you to do this. Like, you're meant to do this. You may think you're an adult now. Yes, you're an adult, but you're living for the first time in your life. Like, you're actually, like, legally an adult. The first 20 years of your life, you were told what to do all the time. This is now up to you. If you're in uni, you can decide you don't want to go to uni. Your parents aren't going to get arrested because you're not at uni. If you didn't go to school, your parents would probably get arrested because you're not at school, right? So meaning you had no choice over what you did. You started to go to school, you had to play sport, you had to do whatever you had to do. You know, you'd be told what to wear, how to look, who to speak to. Now it's completely up to you. You can choose what job you want, you can choose what career you want, you can choose what business you want to start, you can choose where you want to live. It's all up to you. Yes, you may say, oh, money, 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 but it's literally all up to you. And that's literally what I just came here to talk about. Like, at the end of the day, like, we're all 20. We're in our 20s, okay? Even if you're in your 30s, even if you're still a teenager about to hit 20, like, this is the time to try things out. Don't be afraid. Stop feeling so stuck. Like, stop feeling so stuck. You cannot control what's going on in your life. Some things you can't control, okay? There's some things you can't control in your life. Like, you may have responsibilities. You may need a job. You may need to go to uni. You may need to do whatever you need to do. But this is literally like the perfect time to go and try something else. You don't like where you are? Okay, do something else. Like, try something else then. You feel stuck? Move. Honestly. Because, like, it's more about the mindset you have for yourself. If you feel, like, super stuck to the point where, like, you don't know what to do with yourself, speak to someone. You genuinely just need to speak to someone. Speak to someone about it. Or find a way to release that. And I say, without alcohol, drugs. Find a healthier way to do it. You may feel like, oh, it's healthy. Especially people that may think, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. If you find yourself relying on it at some point, there's something wrong with it. Honestly. So, yeah, don't be afraid to try something out. Like, this is genuinely what I just came on here to talk about. Like, I just wanted to be real with everybody today. So, yeah. Okay, so I actually lost like the last 10 minutes of that video. So I'm not going to try and like say what I was trying, like continue what I was trying to say, because I was like kind of like wrapping it up. But yeah, like just to like summarize what I talked about in this video. Number one, you're not going through it alone. You're not alone. And number two, speak to somebody, or at least find something to help you decompress from it. And number three, don't be afraid to risk it. Don't actually be afraid. Like, so yeah, go and try new things. Yeah, find something else you might like. This is literally the time to do it. There's no better time out there, honestly. So don't be afraid, because next thing you're like, in 15 years you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I could have done that back then. I could have done that back then, instead of trying to do it in 15 years time or 10 years time. But yeah, I'm so glad you guys watch this whole video. Yeah, when I was actually editing this video, my friend was laughing at me. She was like, it took you 2 years to open up to me. Like, after us being friends for like 2 years, that's when I finally opened up to her. She was just laughing about it. She's like, and now you're like being vulnerable online. And I was just like, yeah, I guess so. Like, so yeah, this is like a really like what's the word for it? This is a big step for me, like, to actually talk about this stuff, because I don't really like to talk about these things. Like I have said in the video, I'm not really one to share what's going on in my life. That's just not who I am. So yeah, I'm really putting myself out there, being vulnerable online, hoping that there is at least one person that watches this video and feels the same way, resonates with me. And I hope it just makes a difference to at least one person out there. So yeah, please like, share, and subscribe this video, especially to someone you feel like that needs to watch this. Yeah, and thank you guys so much for listening to my unstructured rant, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye. Little belly, I like how she looking in that. I'm in the sun out in Cali, I step to the valley.